Skye here with another GGRecon interview, this time, of course, with Sliggy of Team Liquid. You guys just qualified. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Apparently that isn't to be taken for granted. The news just hit before this interview that G2 didn't make it past Guild. How have you guys received this?
Yeah, so I was just watching the stream there. I mean, that side of the bracket was just really brutal. The fact that Guild lost their first game in the qualifier, that kind of mixed it all up a big time. I think G2 got a bit unlucky with how the format works. I didn't get to catch enough of the game for me to actually be able to comment on it, but I know that Guild are very good, especially on Ascent. So, yeah, I knew it would be a close game. But yeah, we'll see how the games go tomorrow.
Have you guys been scrimming these teams, both of these? Was that something that could have been predictable?
No, so we scrimmed Guild a few times. Most of the top European teams we've been avoiding. Our main prac partners, honestly, we've been going for like Gambit, people that are kind of aren't in our qualifier, but teams that we rate really highly. We don't want to give too much away, especially in best of ones. Like they're just so brutal, so we just want to be as careful as we can. We wanted to avoid kind of what they had happen to them, so yeah, we tried to be as careful as possible. We haven't pracked too many of the top European teams. We're kind of just waiting for that.
How has it felt to be able to compete again? Of course, there was a little bit of a drought in comparison to the density of tournaments during the summer. Is it good to once again be on the server?
Yeah, of course. It's been a long time, right? Since games have actually been happening like that. So yeah, I think it's been, maybe we've had like a month. To be honest, we kind of needed it. We needed like a good set of time that we could practice and not have to worry too much. I've been trying to do like a lot of different tests with some of the teams just to kind of like get us a bit better at some of our weaknesses and focus on our weaknesses. We kind of threw them under the bus a few times with some hard compositions that I wanted them to play just to kind of improve on stuff internally for our team. So yeah, it's nice to play officials. Yeah, it's been a while, but it's nice to compete again.
Can you talk about some of those issues that you saw in your play? Like, for instance, we saw like early in the team's development, of course, there were maybe some stylistic differences between the players where like the established core wanted to play calm and collected. And I think it's fair to say that Scream is generally a very NA style player in what he wants to do. And they also have shifted some roles around with him now being on Jet. How has that come to be?
Yeah, so I mean, we did a comp like for the Blast event where we used no smokes. That was literally something that I felt was viable, but mostly it was to just focus on our issues of we were very like we weren't proactive enough. We used to turtle up a lot, especially on defense. We played it like we didn't take much map control come like mid round, and so if we have no smokes, I felt like this would force them to kind of be proactive. So it was kind of just to focus on yeah, all of the points that I felt we struggled on, and kind of just chuck them in at the deep end and go, hey, right here, guys, you're not proactive enough. You don't do enough stuff. Now here's a team that will like a composition that will only work if you're proactive. So let's try that, and I think that helped massively. I do think we could have beat FPX with the comp that we used, but there's just a few more mistakes in there, like our after plants weren't the best. But we've been working on we've been watching a lot of our own stuff, kind of just being really open about what we think we all individually need to improve on and as a team, and then just been focusing on that.
It also feels like Europe is the region of proactivity in many ways, where it's like it's not really just waiting to surprise someone and then just jump out in the mid round based on maybe intuition or whatever it is, even though I think some teams do that more. Like FPX seems very calculated in their rollouts. Where do you want to fall? What's your ideal version of this team?
I want to have a good mix-up. So I would say that like G2 are more like the puggy team, and FPX are more like the structured big team. I want to be somewhere smack bang in the middle, have a mix-up of all of them. I just want us to be like super versatile and be able to kind of adapt to everything. So yeah, somewhere in the middle between those teams.
Right. So now, of course, other esports had a little bit of a burnout topic. I'm not sure how big that was actually for Valorant, the Valorant scene, in terms of it's a new game. Maybe you're not as strained by that. At the same time, there were a ton of tournaments that you guys had to compete in. Was that something that was an issue during the summer or later?
No, I think we were pretty much fine. It was a new game. Everyone wanted to play loads. All of the players were just happy to play everything. No, at least if anyone had any problems, they didn't make it known. So I think everyone was fine. I always tried to get them to play as much as possible, but we never felt like it was overwhelming. But I feel because it was a new game, right? Everyone's just pretty hyped to be playing. So we never thought it was like an issue. Never felt like an issue. I think it was just nice to be able to just play like back-to-back officials. To be honest, just to like practice, just try new things, and it's just like the best way to learn the game, right? Going into officials and just playing against other teams that are doing stuff against us that maybe we haven't seen.
Right. How much do you think, because Skye is, of course, obviously soon coming into the competition, how destabilizing towards the meta do you think that agent will be?
It's so hard because I think the meta now, especially with every agent that comes in, it pretty much changes every 2 months. I think it's going to be the same again with Skye. We haven't, because obviously the qualifier we're playing doesn't allow it, so we haven't been practicing too much with it. We haven't practiced too much against it. We did like a day just where we would test it out. It seems really strong. It does seem really strong. I just don't know if it's because it's so new. But in terms of like the flashes and trying to shoot the flashes, like the bird or the pigeon, whatever people are calling it, it's so fast and it's really hard to shoot. So I think it looks really strong right now. I don't know if it's just because it's new and it's overwhelming. We definitely need to prac a bit more, play against it a little bit more because we will be seeing it. I mean, yeah, it feels like it's a bit of a meta change, but we'll see. It's a bit early for us to say. We haven't played or practiced against it enough for me to like say definitively.
Yeah, and it's almost unfair what I'm about to ask because we know coaching, a lot of this is trial and error. But where do you think, like, if Skye came in, what position is she taking, or is she going to enforce like a Sova Skye meta and displacing Breach in that? What do you think is the likely outcome?
There's a few ways for sure. I think quite a lot of stuff is going to work. To be honest, I think a lot of stuff is really viable right now. I guess it could be a straight replacement for Breach. You could argue that if you wanted to go really flash heavy, maybe you take a Sova or a Phoenix out, something like that. So I'm not entirely sure. I think we'll see quite a few flash heavy comps. The flashes seem really strong at the moment right now, especially with the extra Breach buff. So I think people are enjoying the flashes. It's quite hard to play against, especially if you had a Breach and a Skye on the same team. That's like 6 really strong flashes. So yeah, maybe instead of the Breach or instead of a Phoenix or instead of a Sova, something like that, if you're going to try and slot it in.
Right. Now, maybe as a last question, a little bit forecasting. How confident did you go into this qualifier, and how prepared or how far do you think you guys can go?
I think we can win it, and that's pretty much our goal. Like, we've been practicing so much. We're practicing like 7 to 8 hours every day, 5 to 6 days a week, depending on if people can do the extra days. So we've been practicing a lot. Like, our goal is to 100% win. I think we can go all the way. In terms of how we're doing here, I mean, best of one's always hard. So I'm really happy that they're out of the way at the moment for us, so we can focus on this best of 3. So yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. But yeah, I think we're feeling pretty confident. There's still a few stuff that creeps in every so often, but like a majority of the time we play, I feel like we play pretty well.
Sweet. Then we say thank you for the interview.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.